HTTP client is the one major necessary module for all of web-based application. This HTTP client means not client-side component and server-side component, but it means client for client-server communication model. Axios is most popular and excellent package for the HTTP client, and it is dominating in several years as of 2024. Because Axios was easy to integrate web application and there are many functions. But recently, I observed people come back to fetch feature, which is native web API or the extends by framework like Next.js for many projects. I did research on web resources and experiences, why people now don't like Axios, so that I want to share with you. I'm going to test two different Axios and fetch function to create very simple web application. This will just call API to fetch large dataset and display that. Let's look into code for API first. This code will respond JSON object with create 10K of the random data to simulate a API call, which takes a bit of time. Here's code for the Axios-based HTTP client. I defined async function called getSomeData to call API, which I explained before. One difference of fetch function is that Axios return JSON object natively, and you don't need to convert like JSON stringify. When it comes to page component, I use date function to get time before and after the call API. Finally, it will render one of the data where come from API response and how much time it takes to finish. Here is code for the fetch-based HTTP client. It is almost same as before and just use fetch instead of Axios. As I mentioned, fetch is not return JSON object natively, so I need to convert response to JSON object. Let's look at how it works actually in browser. I actually want to see how much time it takes render from performance point of view. Here I'm going to page for Axios, and first render is require build time in my environment because I'm using dev command of build tools such yarn. So let's reload several time and see average response time. It looks around 90 mems for finished call API. For the next, let's look at the fetch case. Here's how it works for fetch-based code. Let's see how much time it takes in case of we use fetch function. It is significant difference that around few millisecond or 15 millisecond. However, look at the random ID. It is keep display same ID, which means this is caching. Fetch function do cache by default. Axios does not provide cache function with built-in package. It is still required additional package on top of Axios. For the fair comparison, let's make it same condition with Axios case for no cache. Let's modify source code for fetch function. If you want to not cache, then it is simply add cache statement and no store for the parameter. Okay, now it is same condition with Axios, so let's see how it works. And try to reload several times. Look at the time. It is still better than Axios that it takes around 40, 50 millisecond. Compared to Axios case, it is 40 millisecond improvement, just use different package. Let's look at the another aspect for the bundle size. Axios is actually big package that 30.5 kilobyte and 11.7 kilobyte with compressed one. Look at the React itself. It is only 6.4 kilobyte package and 2.5 kilobyte with compressed one. I think it is too big for just HTTP client package. And Axios is increasing time to time. This is actually main reason to not use Axios I heard from many people. For the alternative of Axios or fetch, then I found redaxios, which is super small size of Axios, which has same API but extends from fetch function. Or the other option is alova. If you already an Axios user, then redaxios is the best option. If you are new to start, then native fetch is still right option and you can choose redaxios or alova are still good. This is just my findings. Please share us know if you have better option in chat.